Howdy, Halo fans. Welcome to another episode of the Heady Halo Hot Take Hoedown. I am Vince the Angels Cowboy. Fernando the Lone Star Halo will be coming up soon. Today, we are 1 week after the trade deadline. And the big question is, out of the trade acquisitions we had gotten in this since last week, which player might be an impact on the Angels franchise for either now or the future? We'll find out coming up right after this.
From Anaheim down to the Texas plains, hot takes flying riding off the reins. Lone Star Halo Cowboy Vince, calling it bold, never on the fence. Hold down time, turn it up loud, hot takes are ringing, drawing a crowd. No matter how wild, no matter how strange, ain't no limit on the takes we say.
Hey, howdy, hey, and welcome to this week's episode of the Halo Hot Take Hoedown. My name is Fernando, a.k.a. the Lone Star Halo, joined here, of course, by the man who kicked off our show, Vince the Angels Cowboy. Let's get all the yard work out of the way. Make sure you give us a 5-star review. Let us know how we're doing around these here parts. If there's anything we got to do to make this show better, let us know. If you want to hear us talk about any hot takes, let us know. Message us. You can message Vince directly, or you can message me directly. By the way, follow Vince at Angels_Cowboy. That is Vince's handles. Always doing some fun stuff over there. And then follow us at Halos in the Infield on all the social media platforms. Thank you to the sponsor of 714 Tickets. Use code HITI, H-I-T-I, at checkout for 10% off and 5% back in future earnings. And they have no fees like those other guys. The price you see is the price you pay. You're going to get that price, but you're going to take 10% off once again because of code HITI. Don't forget, we also have, we did a little two-step there, flipped around. Don't forget that we also have Brewheim. Mention Halos in the Infield for drink specials, not dream specials. Hey, you have a good enough time, you'll be dreaming. OC Dugout for the best memorabilia in the Orange County area. And, of course, Max Market Pros. More from them a little later. Vince, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well. Of course, 1 week after the deadline, and let's not forget, 1 week after the right field revolution. Man, that was such a fun experience. It was just great to meet more personalities. Of course, the Halo boys, Taylor Wardlover, who is basically a celebrity. He's been all over the place ever since that night. Then, of course, Curtis, who is also Halo Tees, was with us. That was a neat experience. There was just so many personalities out there. And then the Austin, the YouTuber, was out there filming us and gave us some shout-outs. Also gave Todd a shout-out, who was at the game as well, and gave Halos in the Infield a shout-out on his YouTube channel. Totally recommend to watch. There was a lot of craziness, and we did things that you don't expect from an Angel game, but we wanted to just set the tone and just let the players know that, like, look, we have y'all's back regardless of how you play. You could be in first place, you can be in last place. We still have the support. We support the players, and that was what that night basically was. And for it to be before the trade deadline, I think it was we were hoping to get a little bit of a boost to push for a playoff spot. But, of course, with the trade deadline, we were still on the fence of buyers, sellers, all that talk about. And then if you did see Fernando and Todd last week and everything about the trade deadline, you know exactly what happened. We all know what happens. But other than that, yeah, that Wednesday night was just amazing. I was so glad to be a part of it for sure.
The one thing that I don't like was how afterward the front office used it against you guys. So I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, there is a spider in my room that I just saw crawling around. So that's what I just did there. Pest control all the time, Vince. But yes, So the front office was almost using it against the fans. Like, wow, the fans are out here. They're so hungry for winning. The fans believe in this team. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, these guys like the team. But it's funny how you guys won't mention the fact that the Halo boys were also chanting, sell the team. And they got everyone else to do it. I mean, there was a lot of hate on social media for that too. I don't know if you guys saw that. I don't get it. I don't. I mean, you guys got a massive group of people, close to 1,000 for sure. It was what, like about 700-800 people.
Yeah, it covered the whole lower pavilion. And then the upper pavilion was there were still some open seats. There were a couple of Angels up there, but mainly we wanted to take care of the lower part. So
it was a success. I'm glad they're doing more. What, they're doing 3 now?
Well, so there is one that's confirmed. Yes, I'm allowed to say it. We talked about it. So it's September 27th, which is the last Saturday of the regular season, and it's against the Astros. So it's rightfully so. Without Altuve and Correa, yeah, it's going to be bonkers. I'm hoping, but I highly doubt that I'll attend that game. I have other commitments that day, but we'll wait and see. Maybe they'll change, but if you're going on the 27th of September, have fun and just let those Astros know. Yeah, we're kind of salty, but still, like, we're also over it a little bit.
I don't know. You know what? I think I'm going to make a tweet, and if we get a certain amount of either likes or retweets, I don't know which one yet, we should have Todd dressed up as Oscar the Grouch.
Okay.
I mean, I understand it was in 2017. But I mean, I think it'd be funny. Everyone's dressed up as angels and in white again.
And then one trash can.
Yeah, and then one guy dressed up as Oscar the Grouch. I think the Halo boys would okay that.
Yeah.
I mean, Todd was dressed as a clown for the right field revolution this time. He wasn't white.
TV time.
He did get TV time, as did Erica Weston, dressed up as an angel. But no, that was really cool. That was really fun to see, even from this side, all the way out here in Texas. So I tipped my theoretical cowboy hat to the Halo boys, the right field revolution, and all those who attended. And all those who were there in spirit, too. You know what? We can't all be there. But, good on them. We'll have to get John and hopefully some of the other boys on soon. But, yes, good on them. Vince, I want your opinion. How frustrated were you this trade deadline? Give me a number. 10 meaning you wanted to just walk into Artie Moreno's office and slap his mama. And 1 meaning, who cares?
I would say 10. And I usually...
What's up, Mrs. Moreno?
I usually don't feel that way, but this trade deadline was, I believe, the most anticipated since the 2023 trade deadline. 2023, of course, there was a lot going on about... we were on the fence about... We need to build a future. Do we build a future for Shohei Ohtani to stay, or do we go all in? We obviously made a big mistake because we went all in and it bit us in the butt. And that's kind of what was going in through this time around, because the issue we have every single year, with the exception of last year we were just done. But every single year, at least in the number 17 era, we were always on the fence about, like, are we competing? Are we going to sell? Are we going to get ready for next season? That's the unfortunate part. And that's what happens when you have 2 generational players on your team, especially since the Mike Trout era too, when he came in 2012. And of course, you and I had this conversation on our first pre-season show with the whole number 17 and number 27 were the reason because of media attention. And that came in part with the trade deadline too, for sure, because the trade deadlines every single year during the number 17 era was get these 2 to the playoffs, not build a future after the 6 years of the Ohtani era kind of thing. The Angels were more focused on what we're going to do in 6 years, not what we're going to do in 20 years. And this trade deadline, should have been a setup for the next 10 years, because next year is supposed to be the year to compete. This year was not supposed to be the year to compete. Obviously, we say it every single week, and we're going to continue to say it until the last game of the season. So I was thinking the whole time, we were just going in, you and me both, saying we got to sell because we got to build a future, and we had the pieces. Maybe greed kicked in on Perry's part and said, you know what, whoever you want, like, I want a little bit more. That they're not worth this, and it might hurt them for sure. So for what we got, I mean, I would say one of the three pieces was pretty good, because, and we're gonna talk about him later on, and I'll tell you which piece it is, and the other two, just, I don't know, like, they're probably good for at least one season, or maybe they stay. Who knows? But yeah, I was just frustrated. I think majority of Halo Nation was frustrated around the deadline. And then the unfortunate part was we had that streak going into the deadline where we took we split the series against Seattle, or did we split? Yeah, we split. We split against Seattle, and we took 2 out of 3 against Texas. It looks good. So then when you see that, the first thing that comes to mind is like, okay, we have a shot. Then that's when I think the Angels were going through the technique of a little bit of staying put / get some pieces that aren't as important, but are important in a way.
So one of the biggest things I had heard was Perry's comments when he said, we didn't get the packages we were looking for. Vince, I'm sure you heard the same thing. Let me ask you this, Vince. What does the number 59 mean to you right now? 59. What comes to mind?
I don't know. Maybe let's see, prospects or Fernando Salas. No, I'm just kidding.
So you were on when you said prospects. There was 59 top 30 Major League Baseball prospects that were dealt between various organizations during the trade deadline. 59 top 30 prospects. There was teams overpaying up the wazoo. Vince, if you were anything like me, I know you're working that day, but I'm sure you probably went home, or maybe you were listening to the show, or you went home and you looked at some of these deals. I'm sure you were probably playing the compare game. This person would get traded, and you were like, yeah, you know what? That's kind of like Taylor Ward. Okay, Taylor Ward would have got us 3 top 30 prospects. Damn it, why don't we do that? You know what I mean? You're nodding your head. So for anyone on the audio side. So yeah, Vince agrees. And I'm sure anybody who's listening to this podcast network, you're probably the same viewer, because you are in your free time consuming Major League Baseball content. So you're just like us. And I was doing the same thing. Now, the number one misconception people say, and the number one thing, the rebuttal, I should say, not misconception, the number one rebuttal I get was, well, Fernando, those are prospects. How do you know those guys are going to pan out? You know what? You're right. I don't. But here's the thing. You have to be realistic about your current situation. The Angels at the time of the trade deadline were within 4.5 at that time? So, and that was 4.5 of the last wild card spot. Not 4.5 of the division. 4.5 of just stumbling into the playoffs. So, in my opinion, at that point, you're not fighting for a playoff spot. If you are maybe one slot out, you are the 4th wild card team, which obviously doesn't exist. It's the top 3. Then perhaps maybe you try to get yourself back in it. But the Angels had to leapfrog, I think, 3 or 4 other teams to even get to that 3rd wild card spot. So a lot would have to go right for him. Okay. And right now you have to think about the future, and this team's not supposed to contend till maybe 2027. Hopefully next year you can sneak your way in, but if not, next year you're hoping to just miss the playoffs. Next year you're hoping to A, make it in, or B, be that 4th wildcard spot. Daniel, we just missed it. Just missed it. You know what? We're supposed to be competitive in 2027 anyway. That's the hope. You could have expedited that by a good trade deadline this year and a great draft this year. So time will tell going into next season where the farm system is. But, yeah, you definitely could have expedited that if they did everything right. As of right now, next year, I'm simply hopeful. but I'm not overly optimistic that Knicks is going to be a playoff team because probably it's going to be the same team. So, all this to say, Vince, you got to look at pieces like Ward. You got to look at pieces like Rangifo, Moncada, Anderson, and I don't think a lot of people wanted Anderson, but I'm just throwing out names of guys who are on expiring contracts. Ward obviously still has one more year of control, so not exactly an expiring contract, but arguably your biggest trade asset. Okay, you could have gotten a top 5 prospect or maybe even a top 10 prospect in an organization for Taylor Ward. I have no problem believing that. A lot of people are like, well, hey, he's got one of the worst K percentage in Major League Baseball, strikes out a lot. He's an all or nothing type guy. But you know what? Taylor Ward is going to give you the most average of defense out there, right? Not good defensively, not even bad defensively. He is just defensively. He is a 0 WAR defensive guy. You know what? So that's what you're going to get out of him. That's fine. He's going to pop about 25 to 30 home runs. Great. Most teams want that. He's going to drive him about 70 to 80 ribbies. Once again, teams want that. So, and also, if he's a 7, as I have said for years on this network, if he is batting 7th in a good lineup, Taylor Ward is going to be an even better hitter because he doesn't have to be the guy. He's simply a guy. All terms I've said in years past. So, Vince, the Angels could have gotten a pretty penny from him. Same with Jansen, same with Moncada, same with Rangifo. We could have been talking about a great, successful deadline. And man, oh man, look at all these prospects, Vince. Look at all these shiny toys. Hopefully 2 of the guys pan out. And you know what? If 2 or even 3 of those guys have panned out, if you got 8 to 10 of those guys, great. That's a good success rate in Major League Baseball. But for all of those people who are like, well, Fernando, you're an idiot because Ward can give us one more year of production. And anybody listening to this podcast probably isn't going to say that. But if I'm wrong, write in the comments. Let me know how big of an idiot I am. I'd appreciate knowing. But all this to say, Vince, you can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. Taylor Ward is not part of the long-term success of this team, assuming he doesn't sign an extension. Please don't sign an extension, Taylor Ward. I like you. I don't love you. I'm okay with a young, hungry player going in there, taking that spot. Vince, I think you are as well. But the point is, the only word that I can use to describe the 2025 Major League trade deadline was disappointing. It was disappointing, Vince. So disappointing.
I would say a main reason why too. You could easily say, "Oh, Perry was being greedy. Oh, Artie was in on the mix." I think the players on the roster right now might have been the reason behind the trade deadline debacle. Because first person that was vocal, Kenley Jensen. He said he did not want to get traded whatsoever, regardless of how the team was playing. Last place, didn't want to get traded. First place, obviously not going to get traded. In the hunt for the playoff, doesn't want to get traded. Whatever the situation. And that kind of came into effect too, because he could have easily been a valuable piece. He could have easily gone to Cleveland because of the Emmanuel Clase incident. His value shot up. We could have easily got some Cleveland prospects for sure, and Cleveland knows how to develop. Maybe they had some already developed players like, yeah, go ahead, you can take them, and then get ready for your next 10-year run. But with Kenley saying, look, like, I don't want this to happen, that came into effect. Taylor Ward, of course, who was the big target, probably the second or first biggest target at the deadline, he also said, hey, like, I hear everything that's going on, but I'm just going to do my part and see where it goes. But at the end of the day, I don't want to leave this crew. Mike Trout, he was vocal about the trade deadline too. And he said, I love this group. We're so tight. We don't want it to break. This is when the memes kick in. If MLB trash talkers, 9S innings or whatever the JS innings, I forget what the Instagram is, but you guys get my point. Baseball or whoever, any of those Instagram pages, there's a joke saying the Angels are depending on friendship to push for the playoffs, literally. And when Mike Trout said this group is tight, that's when I started. Right when I saw that comment, I started laughing so hard because right away I said friendship. Because in the past we have seen teams who aren't like what the teams that have beaten the Dodgers in the playoffs. What's the one thing they have in common? There's no superstars. 2023 with the Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll, was a rising superstar to where he is now. He was Rookie of the Year, yes, but look at the rest of the roster. Zach Gallen.
What about the Padres when they beat the Dodgers in the playoffs?
They didn't have Fernando.
Yeah, they did. It was 2020.
No, I'm talking about in 2022.
Yeah, well, they had Juan Soto.
Fernando was still suspended, but they had to depend on Juan Soto. And then I would say, 2021 with the Braves. I mean, yeah, Freddie was a superstar, but you look at the rest of the team. Acuna was out, so they had to depend on the veteran. So that's the joke. Oh no, wait, 2019.
Jorge Soler.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, but 2019 is also a good one too because the Dodgers were eliminated by the Nationals, who had no business even being in the playoffs, let alone being in the wild card game. And
they had the GOAT Howie Kendrick, Vince.
Yeah, they had a former Angel just silence Dodger Stadium. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but it was just funny to hear Mike Trout say like, "Oh, this team is tight. We don't want anything to happen at the deadline." Right when I saw that, I just thought, like, great, nothing's going to happen. Because if he speaks, it kind of goes his way. It's kind of like the whole LeBron James effect. Whatever LeBron wants, he's going to get. Mike Trout is kind of in that sense right now. Whatever Mike Trout wants, he's going to get. And to make those comments, it makes total sense why we didn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Well, I mean, I talked enough about the trade deadline on that day. Vince, let's get into the hot take because I'm really interested to hear your opinion. So go ahead and read it, please, and then take it away because I want to listen to your argument.
Because I picked it, yeah. So the hot take is Oswald Paraza was the best trade acquisition. So to recap, 3 trade acquisitions that we got: Andrew Chafin, Luis Garcia, former Angel, and Oswald Paraza. Paraza, now, really quick, we'll run down the stats. I know the stats are not the best, but it's a hot take for a reason. This regular season so far, 163 at-bats, a 153 average, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, a 450 OPS. In his career, though, now let's look at career stats because those are key as well. 395 career at-bats. He's 25 years old. 190 average, 7 home runs, 30 RBIs, 9 stolen bases, and a 547 OPS. I know those aren't good numbers. I know it's not. We can all agree. You don't expect a lot from him, especially since he came from the Yankees. But this is when I think that things might turn around because I read something about his time with the Yankees. The way he was developed incorrectly. And it makes total sense because if you go through the Yankee system, the main thing that they're trying to get you to do, hit home runs, because that is Yankee tradition. The Bronx Bombers, okay? It's been tradition since Babe Ruth was sold to the Yankees in 1919 from the Red Sox. Ever since he did his part in the Yankees franchise, the new stadium was built, the upper decks were created for a player like Babe Ruth, and then Murderers Row, Lou Gehrig, all the greats, DiMaggio, Mantle, it just carried over the tradition. And every team has traditions. You know, the Cardinals have a pitching tradition about pitching inside on batters. Yadier Molina kept that tradition during his tenure with the Cardinals, and it's still going on to this day because Bob Gibson, he created the Cardinal way of pitching. The Yankees, same thing. What's the Yankee way of hitting? 1 through 9 should be home run hitters. Yeah, in this generation, yeah, it's great because that's what baseball wants. Major League Baseball wants the sexiness of the home run. The Yankees are known for doing that. And look at the lineup: Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, and Paul Goldschmidt, just to name a few. But even in the past, too, where they had Juan Soto last year. And then, of course, when they had Alex Rodriguez, just whoever came through the Yankees, you were a home run hit. You were either a home run hitter or you were trained and developed to be one. That's what I think the Yankees messed up with Oswald Paraza. He came in when he should have been trained or developed like a DJ LeMahieu slash Derek Jeter. Just hit for average. Just get on base. Okay, we know you're not much of a power hitter, but you can produce runs and get the ball rolling for our team. If you want to look at his Yankee tenure, his best year. Well, it's kind of odd because he hasn't played over 100 games. The most games he played was in 2023, which was 52 games. And in those games, he had 2 home runs, he had 14 RBIs, 13 walks, the strikeouts though, 50, 4 stolen bases, and a 191 average. You could say his best, like numbers wise, was in 2022, his rookie year, but he only played 18 games when he had a 306 average and a 404 on base and 429 slugging. But of course, he was getting his feet wet, so that's a little bit of a different story. So he hasn't been able to reach the potential, and it's pretty tough with the kind of lineup that you play on in New York. But I think what the Angels would probably do, and I would hope, but we've been notorious for developing players the wrong way, or we develop them incorrectly. I would hope that the Angels would do something and think, you know what, like we know how you are, we see what potential you are, we see what kind of player you are. Let's have you be this type of player. And with the type of stadium that we play in, it's not a home run hitting park, it's a pitcher's park. So if he can hit doubles in the gap, he can hit doubles down the line, then that would be pretty sweet. Now, what has he done in the last 3 games? It's only been 3 games so far. He's had 5 at bats. He does have a hit, which is a single, but he's not getting the playing time. But I think he might get a little bit more because depending on what happens with Yohan Moncada. Right now he's competing with Moncada, but there's also too, he has some control for the next few years. I think he has control until I think 2028, if I'm not mistaken, or it's like 3 years or something like that. So maybe that's why Perry made the move. It's like, well, the guy that's supposed to play third base ain't going to be playing third base anytime soon. Probably not next year, because he's either A, going to retire, or B, we're going to tell him, hey, go home and stay home. So therefore, Perry had to go through something about who's going to be the future third baseman. Oswald could be the guy, unless there's another prospect who is also going to be coming up and saying, no, I'm coming for this spot.
Okay. So a lot to unpack there. Let me give my overview of Oswald Paraza, and we'll kind of go from there. Obviously, during the trade deadline show, the only thing that we were wondering was what's going on, right? We were waiting for the Angels to make a move, and that's the move that we got. Obviously, now that it's been a week, we've gotten to peel back a little bit and think about what we got here. Now, I've heard him compared a lot to Luis Rengifo. Now, Luis Rengifo was a top 7 prospect for the Tampa Bay Rays. And I believe just about the same thing with, where did he come from? The Diamondbacks, I think it was. Seattle?
Twins.
No, Seattle.
Okay. All right. I thought for some reason the Twins. I thought he had some stint there.
He might have. But yeah, he was drafted by Seattle and then came over. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is it says that he was at the highest, the 7th overall prospect for the Angels. Obviously a guy, it's Tampa Bay Rays, Seattle Mariners. Okay. So he was a guy that had a lot of potential when he came over here. Was in the CJ Cron trade. That was how we got him. So Oswald Paraza, same kind of thing, right? Was a top prospect. It looks like he made the highest he ever made was number 2 with the Yankees. And obviously hasn't been able to put it together fully yet. You could absolutely be right. I didn't read the article. I'd be interested in reading it about what the Yankees wanted to do to change his swing and try to change him in terms of being a batter that he's not. It's very similar to telling Nolan Schanuel to hit for pop. It's like that's That's not Nolan Shanuel, right? There's just some batters. Luis Arias from the Padres, hey, swing for the fences, kid. That's like, no, that's not your game. The point of any major leaguer is to maximize your strengths, right? Every single player has strengths. Every single player has weaknesses. You pitch Mike Trout a low breaking ball, chances are he's going to clubber it. You pitch him anything over 95 miles an hour at the top of the zone, Trout misses that pitch almost every single time, right? That's his weakness. So Oswald Paraza, could very well succeed as a spray hitter. Luis Rengifo has kind of succeeded when he's been a spray hitter, right? We've seen him demonstrate power to all sides. We've seen him be a gap-to-gap hitter. And Luis Rengifo will pop about, 10 to 15 a year. That's fine. In my mind, especially nowadays, if you're hitting 10 to 15 home runs, you are not a power hitter, right? That's just an average major league season. Anything over 20, that's when you can start using the P word. Hey, that guy hits for power, and then obviously you got the guys like Aaron Judge, number 17, Trout. These guys are batting 30 plus on a good year. But it seems to me that a good comparison for Oswald here. I hate calling him Oswald. It's just a weird name. I maybe go by Ozzy or something.
We're down the street from Disneyland. I wouldn't be surprised if people buy the Lucky Rabbit and bring it to the games.
Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. There you go, Halo boys. You heard it here. You heard what you should do next. I can see him being very similar to Andrelton Simmons because the best part of his game is his glove, right? He's praised for his defense and, his speed. So with that being said, I think if all clicks for him, Andrelton Simmons is his ceiling. And Andrelton Simmons was a, 270 hitter? Same thing. 10 to 12 home runs. Number 7, 8 in your lineup. He led off for a little bit too. Was great defensively. I'd have to see a lot more from Paraza before I'm willing to call him a Gold Glover, future Gold Glover. But so, that remains to be seen. But I think that's more of a comp for what he could be if things go well. Now, I don't hate the move now that I got time to marinate on it. What I hated was that was the move of the day. I would have liked to have seen more. The Yankees were very clearly going to cut him or DFA him because of the moves they made that day. The outfielder they got, whose name I'm forgetting. They needed to make room. Paraza was a guy that was going to get the good old Grill Master DFA. So the Angels might have ended up with him anyway, but whatever. They gave up nothing international bonus pool space, and then they gave up 16-year-old kid. Who knows? Hopefully it's not the next Tatis Jr. because we saw what happened when the White Sox gave up on a 16-year-old kid. That's what I got.
Yeah. Sorry about that. No, I was just looking up, getting it set up about his contract. So he did sign a 1-year contract with the Yankees for 2025. However, he's in control because 2026 is his pre-arbitration year, and then 2027 is his first year of arbitration. So
4 years of control.
Is it 4? Yeah, 4. So that I think takes into consideration why we made the trade because he's young. Like I just said, he's 25, but he still has some control going in. And maybe Perry does know something that we don't know. That's the beauty of baseball. It's all about proving people wrong. Could Oswald Paraza prove us wrong? Possibly. I still think I feel confident in him. Like I said, the age is one factor, but also the way that he's going to be used. I think he might be transitioning into a Luis Rengifo. Could be a utility player at third, play a little bit of second base, whoever needs a day off. Like we said last week, Christian Moore is most likely going to be the opening day second baseman next season. Paraza could be the opening day third baseman, barring we get a free agent signing, which is not likely, but it could be like those 1-year rentals like we do with a Moncada, because let's face it, Moncada's not going to come back next year. He's probably going to be a DH somewhere else, or he's probably going to be playing second base somewhere else and be a veteran presence. It's just not going to be with us. And of course, number 6, who I don't think he's coming back next year. I mean, some say he might, but no, you're not going to try to steal our hearts just like that. It's not going to happen that quick. But other than that,
his last year under contract.
Yeah, next year will be the last year under contract. So we'll wait and see what happens. But I just feel pretty good about him. Not so much injury wise. I mean, he's only had 2 severe injuries. In 2023, he had an ankle injury that took him out for nearly the whole month of May. And then a year later, almost from basically opening day till middle of May, he had a shoulder injury. So is that going to come into effect? I don't think so, because this year he's healthy. He's probably taking care of himself. But he most likely knows his responsibilities coming into the team and saying, like, look, I know I'm the new guy and I know you're trying to compete this year, but guess what? I'm going to be here for another 2 seasons, so I want to do as much as I can to get us into competition, whether it be next year or in 2 years. And that's what you need in players. And maybe the scene in New York also, he needed to change the scenery. And a lot of players go through that when they're in New York. We've seen it in the past. I mean, unfortunately, DJ LeMahieu, who was easily probably the best hitter of our generation, of this generation, the best hitting second baseman of this generation. Some say, well, he played in Colorado, so maybe the inflated numbers are the reason why. Yeah, but did you see what he did on the road? The kid still was hitting 300 in the season on the road. So you have to take that into consideration. And to hear that he got released or DFA'd by the Yankees, that's pretty tough to see, because I was a big fan of DJ LeMahieu. I think he was easily one of the best second basemen of this generation of the last 5 or 6 years. And to see that, it hurt, because the kid was a hitter and then he was batting, just like under 250 in recent years. Barring, I mean, you could take into consideration the injuries that affected him a little bit, but also the Yankee way. I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees were tinkering him and saying, like, it's like, yeah, we know you can hit for average, but guess what? You're playing in a small field. Some of the line drives you hit are not doubles compared to when you're playing in Colorado. They're going to be long singles, or, you have to find a way to hit the ball a certain way and place it perfectly. Or better yet, dude, it's 318 down the line. Just smoke one right there. Or we know you're a good opposite field hitter. 314 down the line and right. Just poke it. Big mistake. That's something you should never, ever, ever do for somebody who is a 300 hitter for a majority of his career and can still and is still dominant. I mean, imagine if Luis Arraez went to the Yankees. Don't be surprised if they say, dude, you can hit 314. That's no problem. But Luis Arraez is going to say, that's not my game. So I'm hoping that Luis Arraez never, ever, ever gets to wear Yankee pinstripes. And anybody who is a 300 hitter shouldn't be in pinstripes, with the exception of Aaron Judge. But Aaron Judge is just a different breed. I don't know how he does it. I think he just says, you know what, let me hit 300 in other parks, but when I'm at Yankee Stadium, I'm a Babe Ruth every single swing I have.
I would love to see Luis Arraez on the Giants with just that cavernous outfield out there, or even as a Rocky, because same with Colorado, there's just so much dead space out there, man. If he drives that ball to the gap, he might go from a single to at least a doubles hitter. And watch him lead the league in doubles if he's on one of those teams with just those cavernous outfields. And, that could be really fun. Maybe Luis Arraez actually gets some triples if he's a Giant.
Detroit would be a good one, too, because Detroit, for sure, they're starting their 10-year stretch of competing. They add him to the lineup. Dude, it might be over. You could probably take put a place a bet on the Tigers next year if Arraez was to go to Detroit. But who knows what the situation in San Diego is. But San Diego, we know, is going all in after that deadline for sure.
Yeah, that's a topic for the Padres hot take hoedown. Well, Vince, you're definitely you're crazy for this one. I'll say that. The good kind of crazy though. I don't have much more to add. We'll see what happens. The trade happened, so for better or worse, he is an Angel now. So we're gonna have to cheer him on. So hopefully he's able to figure it out here. Hopefully, being away from the bright lights of New York are kind of able to help him out. And like I said, man, if this guy's ceiling is a Andrelton Simmons type, and the floor is a Luis Rengifo type, then it could be much worse. There's nothing wrong with being a serviceable Swiss Army type player. Obviously, Andrelton Simmons, in my opinion, was just a future Hall of Famer that just missed. You know what I mean? If he would have had a couple more years where he was batting 270, he would have won a couple more Gold Gloves. I think Simmons had that kind of potential. Just unfortunately, career ended a little early, so never quite made it to that trajectory. Obviously, I think calling people future Hall of Famers when they're very early in their career is crazy. But hopefully he can turn out to be that type of player where he is able to hit for contact 270, have a on-base percentage in the 320s, anywhere from 5 to 10 home runs would be great. Just be that type of slap hitter. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you can be a positive defender, because every team needs a reliable shortstop and a reliable third baseman. We have a reliable shortstop, just not quite a reliable third baseman. So we will see what we get out of him through his career. Vince, before we head out to close, anything you'd like to add?
Well, first off, I just this past week I just eclipsed 500 followers. So thank you for all the followers. We just gotta keep on growing from here on out. So if you don't follow me, my account, please do. It'd be nice to get to 1,000 by opening day. That'd be a nice goal. But with the off season coming up, it is going to be tough, obviously, with making some content. But I'll find my ways. We'll see how it goes. But other than that, thank you for all the followers that I have. But keep them coming, and I'll do my best to keep the entertainment coming for you guys. And I got to give a lot of people credit. I got to give, of course, Halos in the Infield the credit. The Halo boys a lot of credit. They give me a lot of love. Halo Tees, Curtis gives me love. Gavin, Angels World 714, he gives me love too. Tumbles Travels, Stadium Chasing Halo. Whoever out there, they keep showing me love, and I continue to show love for them. And that's the beauty of this Angel community.
Yeah, if you don't follow Vince, give him a follow. At Angels I don't just say hyperbolically. The guy does some fun stuff, out of the box stuff. I mean, how many Angels content creators find a way to blend his love of country and Western wear to baseball and the Angels? You know what I mean? It's very creative what he's doing over there. Give him a follow. He's always asking some of the craziest questions. I don't mean that, I mean in the best way possible. It's just that kind of question that you laugh at because you're like, man, I've never had to think about, that. So out of the box stuff, he is a very fun follow. So make sure you give Vince some love. Give him a follow. I don't just say that because he's my podcast mate. He does some fun stuff over there. And I can't wait till I'm in Anaheim or he's here and we can do some content together. But speaking of content, 5 stars preferably. And if not, let us know what we can do around here to get a little bit better. Got any hot takes? Let us know. Message us. Let us know what you'd like your hot takes to be. We will take a look at them and go from there. 714 tickets. Use code HITI, HITI at checkout. Vince, you've used it for non-Angels tickets. It's a thing, right?
It is a big thing, and I love it. So I'm going to keep on using it. In fact, September 21st, Broncos-Chargers. I did use the code. Big time.
There you go. Go Broncos. Woo! Gotta spew my Broncos propaganda. You want to use it for Morgan Wallen tickets. You want to use it for WWE. You want to use it for, any big concert, blah, 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 blah. HITI at checkout. Bruhan, mention Halos in the Infield for drink specials. The OC Dugout, for the best memorabilia in Orange County. Let them know that we sent you as well. And then if you've got a small business of any kind and you want to grow it, turn over to the pros, Max Market Pros. They will help get your small business to that next level. So many levels, you're going to have to invent new levels. So make sure you mention Halos in the Infield to them as well. On behalf of Vince and myself, it is always a pleasure to have you guys here. We'll see you guys next week. And y'all be good now. You hear?
From Anaheim down to the Texas plains, hot takes flying right off the range.